Hi guys, my name's Nadine, welcome to my channel. It has taken me practically the whole month of February to talk to you about the films that I watched in January, so you know, we're doing well. I really hope I can remember enough details about some of these because they weren't all created equal, shall we say. But I will just skip over a few of the films anyway. A lot of them were rewatches, and I watched 24 films in January, so it's quite a lot to talk about. Mostly they were physical films that I watched. There was a couple of digital in there though as well. So without further ado, so the first film that I decided to kickstart the new year with was this one, Reich of the Dead. So I thought, this is Nazi zombies, well, anything zombie is normally, you know, right up my alley. This one, not so much, turns out. Now, when I think about how to describe this though, I start to doubt myself, like, do I want to watch this again? So it's about this group of American soldiers who take refuge in this abandoned building. One of their party is injured. And they find that the place where they've taken refuge is not the safest place to be. There are this is like this Nazi general nearby, and they've been creating zombies out of prisoners in the war camps. It sounds really, really good, but actually it wasn't. The dialogue was... It was like it was written in a way of, oh, this is what American soldiers would sound like in the 40s. And it didn't feel very natural at all. I know I can't really complain too much about a low budget zombie film, but it was just bad. The makeup and stuff was decent, which is a shame. It seems like it was wasted on such a poor offering. But yeah. That was my first watch of the year. After that, I decided to go for a rewatch, something that I know I like, and that was Attack the Block. This is a British film, and it's set in like inner city London. This group of youths are going around, you know, robbing and generally just trying to survive. And then there is an alien invasion, and they have to save their block. So yeah, I enjoy this film. I've seen this a few times now, and I always enjoy it, you know, the same level, so that says a lot, I think. Attack the Block. So I've got my letterboxd here to remind me what I watched. The next one is this, Jurassic Shark. I do generally enjoy a bit of sharky nonsense. I have written a note to myself on here though that apparently the runtime was 1 hour 15, but it finished 1 hour 2 minutes. And 2 sequels, question mark, question mark, question mark. I don't know how this got 2 sequels. This is an instantly forgettable, terrible, terrible shark film. I will not be keeping this one. I don't really remember much about it even. Oil company unwittingly unleashes a prehistoric shark from its icy prison. Yeah, it was rubbish. No, not good at all. Next, I rewatched Alien Resurrection. I've always liked this film. I know a lot of people aren't big fans of it. It's much more of an action movie, I think, than an alien movie, if that makes sense. I've always really enjoyed it, and I like the Ripley character in this. I like the way she's evolved. It's just a lot of fun. I've been watching these films with my son, introducing him to the whole Alien universe. As a lot of you know, I love the Alien franchise, so I've been enjoying watching all of these with him. Next is another zombie flick, and that is Doomed. Another low budget offering, but this one I quite enjoyed. This follows this group of prisoners who are given the chance to escape their lifelong convictions as long as they survive this island. And the island is just covered in zombies. It's a lot of fun. It's not like the best made film ever, but it was still quite a lot of fun to watch, and I can see myself picking it up again at some point. So that'll stay in the collection for sure. Next, I've been watching the Harry Potter films with my kids as well. Whenever my daughter finishes one of the books in the series, now we have a Harry Potter movie night, so we watched Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, and that is about Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. Everyone knows the Harry Potter films, I'm not going to go on about that. Next then, I watched The Mummy, the Tom Cruise offering here. Yeah, it's not the best mummy film in the world. Having said that, I had fun, I enjoyed it. There's a lot of action as you expect from Tom Cruise films, and it's sort of eye candy and just fun to watch, so yeah, I quite enjoyed that one. Next I watched, it was a rewatch again, Abigail. This is one that I also really enjoy. It's got lots and lots of gore in it, which is always fun. And it follows this group of criminals who are tasked with kidnapping this little girl, Abigail, and holding her to ransom from her rich father. But what they find is actually they're the ones that are trapped. Yeah, there's loads and loads of gore in this, and it's so much fun. If you haven't seen this and you like vampire films, check it out for sure. Next is something that I watched, which I streamed, and it was George A. Romero's Resident Evil, the documentary that came out. I'm glad that I streamed this rather than buying it. I was really tempted to buy it, even though it's out of stock now. I was thinking about buying it at the higher prices that I could find it on eBay. It was interesting to watch, and it would have been interesting to see George Romero's Resident Evil, but I have to say, on balance, I like the Resident Evil series of films. I love the Resident Evil franchise, and yes, the films that we have are very far removed from, the games, but I still enjoy them, and I'm just not actually sure that it would have been the same, that I would have felt the same about George Romero's, even though I love Romero. I don't know. It was interesting to see and interesting to reflect on, and nice to hear people talking about, the ideas that he had for the film and, what went on. And if you are a Romero fan or a Resident Evil fan, I would definitely say to try and check it out because it is interesting to watch. Next, we watched, for family movie night, we watched Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark. We're working our way through the indies now as well. I actually haven't seen the last indie film that came out, so I'm looking forward to getting to that one. Next, another one that I watched, that I streamed, and that was Jurassic Reborn. I don't know what it is. I like zombie films, I like dinosaur films, and I like shark nonsense. I don't know. They don't even have to be like majorly good for me to like them. This one, it wasn't majorly good. I did like it though. It followed this group of scientists on a remote island that had engineered dinosaurs that had very, very quickly then gotten out of control. And what you expect to happen happens. There's some killings. There's a Baldwin. There's often a Baldwin involved in these kind of scenarios. And yeah, it was just a good time. I think I watched it on Prime, so if you're interested in checking that one out, if you like dinosaur rubbish too, then that's an interesting one to watch. Well, it's not interesting, but it's fun. Next, I rewatched The Fog. You know what The Fog's about. It's a classic, and it had been a long time since I'd watched that one, so I was happy to watch that again. Next was another rewatch, and it was Jurassic Park. That one I streamed as well. We do have it on Blu-ray somewhere in the house, just not here, so I can't show it you. But yeah, Jurassic Park. Next I watched Boy Kills World, and this one starred Bill Skarsgård. This is another one that was on Prime, I think. Bill Skarsgård, and he plays a character who is this deaf mute young man who had witnessed as a child his entire family being slaughtered. And he had been brought up sort of in the woods by this shaman type character, and trained all his life to seek revenge on the people that had killed his family. There is lots and lots and lots of violence in this, which is fun. And yeah, it was a good film. It was a good watch. There was some twists and turns in it which weren't entirely unexpected, but still it was nice when it happened. And yeah, I would recommend it if you want something that's like easy to watch and you know, lots of violence and stuff. That was a good one. Next I watched this one that I got for Christmas. It was Reanimator. I have seen this lots of times before, but long time ago, so I had so much fun rewatching this. I couldn't believe how little I remembered actually as I was watching it, so yeah, that was brilliant. And then this nice set that I've got has loads of special features as well, which I'm looking forward to checking out at a later date. But I had so much fun rewatching that the next night I decided to stick on From Beyond. Similar sort of thing really. I remember watching it lots and lots years ago, but it's been so long and it was nice to revisit. After that I streamed Remains. That was also on Prime. That's a zombie film. This is one that I've seen a couple of times in the past as well, and I do quite enjoy it. It follows these people that are hiding out in this casino in Vegas when the apocalypse hits, and just like how they're surviving, and zombies really. There's not a lot to it, but it was a lot of fun. Lots of zombies. There's not a lot to say about it. There's often not a lot to say about zombie films, is there? There's a load of people trying to survive zombies. But yeah, it's a good one. The zombies are really good in it. Next I watched One Missed Call. This is, where is it from? Is it Japan or is it... Yeah, Japan. So this follows people who they receive a phone call where they hear the final seconds of their lives as they're being murdered, and the phone call comes with the time and date of when they die, and it's about this young girl and this man who are trying to figure out what the hell's going on in time to stop her from being the next victim. It's a good film. I've watched the second one as well this month, so I'll talk about that next month probably, maybe in more detail. And then I've got the third one to watch as well. So yeah, I enjoyed it. Next I watched Alien Romulus. The first time I watched this, I absolutely loved it. I've got to say, I don't know what it was, but I didn't love it quite as much on the second viewing. I don't know, maybe it was just the night that I watched it, but I still enjoyed it, but just not quite as much. Then I watched Blade 2, and I had an amazing time watching Blade 2. It had been far too long. And just remembering how much I loved these films, I got so super excited about how much I enjoyed watching Blade 2 that I immediately put on Blade Trinity and had regrets. This is not the best. And it is, I like Ryan Reynolds, but it was just ruined by him, by the character in it. I mean, the character, he only ever plays Ryan Reynolds, right, in everything pretty much. But it was just, I can see why he was there, but it was over the top and unnecessary, and it kind of removed me from the experience of the film. But yeah, it's finished now, that trilogy. I've watched all of those again recently, so that was good. Next one was Skyline. This is one I've seen a few times as well. This follows this couple who go to LA to stay with his friend whilst he's having his birthday party. But while they're there, there's an alien invasion and people start getting sucked up like Rapture style. And there's this light that if you look into it, you're just sort of drawn towards these aliens. It's entertaining. It's a popcorn flick. That is a bit. There's some things in it that are a bit eye-rolly. Now, there are some sequels to this film, and I am really in two minds about whether to order them or not. I've never ever seen them out in the wild. So if I'm going to watch them, it's going to be because I've ordered them specially. Have you seen any of the sequels, and are they worth it? I enjoy this film. As I say, there are things about it that's a little bit eye-rolly towards the end, but overall I like this film, and you know, sort of mindless action of it. Let me know. Anyway, if you've seen the others, let me know if they're worth it. Next, I watched Shark Lake. This sold itself to me based on the fact it's called Shark Lake, and it had Dolph Lundgren in it. He was this guy who had been in prison for a long time. His daughter had been taken away and adopted by somebody else, by the police officer that arrested him actually. And because his job was stealing exotic animals for rich clients essentially. And as he was being arrested years ago, he released this dangerous shark into the lake, and it had been living there ever since. And then all of a sudden it decides to start terrorising everybody, and that is timed with his release from prison. So yeah, it's what you would expect, but it was fun. I enjoyed it. My husband not so much, I think he fell asleep. But yeah, I enjoyed it for what it was. And then finally, in January, I watched with the kids Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, which was, it was lovely. Lovely to revisit these films, and, you know, see Buckbeak again and all of that. My daughter gave me such a telling off about the whole Buckbeak thing. She came downstairs when she was reading that part of the book, and she was just in floods of tears about Buckbeak, you know, at that moment. If you've seen the films, you know, or if you've read the books, you know. And I just didn't want to tell her what happened next because I didn't want to spoil the experience. But yeah, I got told off later for that. Anyway, those are all of the films that I watched in January. I think I got through that relatively unscathed. Couldn't remember lots of details for some of them, but overall I think it was a good month. There was a few rubbish ones, but overall I think it was a fun month for films. Let me know what you think of those. Let me know about the Skylines if you've seen them, and I will chat with you in the comments. Catch up with you later, guys. Bye!